Good evening and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys have had yourself a great day. We are here to discuss all things Arsenal, all things football as well, as we do each and every evening. And as I said, I hope you guys have had yourself a great day. And we've got a very special guest. We have guests on in the evening. Got a very special guest with us today. We've got Stricto. How you doing, Stricto?
Yo, Robbie, what's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm blessed, Robbie. I'm blessed, man. Just growing my hair.
And that ain't working out too well from what I can see, bro. You know what I mean?
Don't worry how it's working out. Just wait till quarantine's done. You see it, bro.
Afro thing going on.
Yeah. Trust the process, man. Trust the process.
That's a long process. I reckon I could grow here quicker than that. So how's the lockdown been treating you anyway?
Do you know what, to be honest, Robbie, yeah, like there's ways you can take this lockdown. You can have a negative effect on you, or you can let it have a positive. I can't lie, I've been doing a lot of exercising. You know, I've managed to drop a stone. So wow. Yeah, I can't complain, man. More of it. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop the lockdown till I lose all the weight, is what I'm saying.
funny enough, you know what? It's the same with me, man. I've been doing so much training. Like every day I train now, and I'm really getting into it. And I think one of the things about the lockdown is like giving you sort of time to reflect. I mean, that's if you when kids ain't running around all over the place, but it has given you time to sort of kick back, reflect, and look at, and also it's made people look at that, you know, things like exercise and that, where maybe, you know, with your busy lifestyles, you neglect that. So that's been one of the positives.
For sure, like there's been a lot of that reflecting. And do you know what, yeah, most importantly, like I think it showed us as humans that sometimes we need to operate on the basis. Do you understand? I think life in general has been moving way too fast, and not just for me, but just for everyone. And I think with this, it's kind of allowed us to kind of slow things down and kind of see things from a perspective that, you know, we probably wouldn't have been able to see it before. So yeah, no, it's been good for me anyway. I don't know for everyone else, but for me, yeah, I've enjoyed it. Well, the only thing I don't like is the queuing up. That's the queuing up. Oh God. Yeah.
Lots of queuing up. So Stricto's in the building. People, you know the drill. You can answer there's questions coming in already. We're going to touch on a couple of subjects. Already, this guy Joseph is saying, "Hi, Robbie and Stricto. What are your thoughts on Saka being linked to Leicester?"
Boy, hell to the no. What was that song again? Ding-a-ling-a-ling, Saka down the wing. Nah, no way you get rid of Saka. No way.
Yeah, I think Saka's getting linked to also Borussia Dortmund, but I can't see Arsenal selling Saka. It would have to be, I mean, I suppose if it was a ridiculous amount, but Leicester ain't going to come with a ridiculous amount. So I don't think, I can't personally see that happening. I think Saka, should I say, will be still at Arsenal. But let's touch on the big story of the day, which is this one about French football. Now, this is big. I mean, last week we heard that Dutch football has been cancelled. Belgian football, that's on the verge. And now we hear that there's going to be no French football. The French football has been cancelled. If I just read some of what's happened here, they're basically saying that the French league, it's the government over in France have basically banned all major events until September. And obviously that means that the football can't continue because that is a major event. So that means that there's going to be no football in France. They're cancelling it. That means that PSG won't be able to win the league. But I mean, the Dutch one was quite a big story. But I think the French one, when you consider the amount of money that's with teams like PSG, Lyon, you know, it's a bigger league than the Dutch league. And that's a shock. And when you read that and when you see that, you know, remember there's some superstar players in France like Mbappe, Neymar, Cavani, Icardi's playing over there at the moment, you know. You've even got a lot of players that, you know, have been linked with moves to Arsenal. So, you know, guys like Aurier and people like that. It's major. It's major that the French league has been cancelled. France is just next door to us. Could the Premier League be next? Could they cancel the Premier League? And that, of course, would probably mean that it's void. You're holding your fingers. What, you want it to be cancelled?
Listen, it needs to be written off. It needs to be written off. Like Liverpool fans, yeah. Like, do you know what? In fact, let's do it. Let's do it like this. Health and safety first is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to concentrate on. Unfortunately for Liverpool, yeah, the gods have summoned this upon us. Through some of our prayers, I can't lie, I must have prayed for something like this to happen, but I didn't think it would happen. But here we are. But we need to take people's safety first. That's priority. 100%. 100%. And what clubs need to think of is, if a fan contracts the COVID-19 and subsequently gets ill or dies, the family can sue the club. There's a lot at stake here. Sorry, Robbie. Liverpool. We always keep hearing them saying next year is our year. Let's continue the trend, innit? Next year is still be your year.
Oh boy! I mean, they are planning. The plan over here is to play it behind closed doors. I was even hearing from somebody at Arsenal yesterday where they said, "Listen, that is 100% the priority at the Premier League to finish the season, and for the season to be played behind closed doors." But you make a great point there. Even behind closed doors, you still got to have people to do the TV. Put the TV stuff all together, and that involves quite a big team. You still need backroom staff for the two football teams that are going to be playing on the day. You still need staff that needs to open it up. You're still going to need security, stewards, all people like that. Obviously not on the same scale, but you're still going to need, and like you said, if one of those people contracted the virus, you're right.
Injury
they could.
Injury at work. Do you know what I'm saying? Injury at work. And Robbie, one more thing here. Like, they say they're going to play it behind closed doors. Does this mean footballers are exempt from getting this illness?
Well, of course not. You know what I mean? You know.
So that's why you got to cancel the whole thing. From top to bottom, it doesn't benefit anyone. Liverpool fans, probably the only fans in the world right now, probably screaming for games to go on, whether behind closed doors or in front of fans. But the bigger picture, unless you are exempt from COVID-19, then I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because right now, health and safety comes first. Like, come on, like, players, from the goalkeeper to the striker, come on. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, if it's Arsenal, then the way we're playing is probably going to be Leno to Socrates, back to Leno. So they'll probably be giving each other flipping COVID-19 back and front. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I mean, there's lots of comments coming in here, and I can see some Liverpool fans here. Lily says, okay, guys. It's clear that you don't want Liverpool to win. Who would you give it to who merits it? I mean, listen, I think it's clear that Stricto doesn't want Liverpool to get it. But you can't give it to anybody. I think if the season was voided, we've spoken about this several times, and I noticed that over in the Dutch league, that's what they did. They just said season voided, no champions, no relegation. And I think if the season does get voided, that's how it has to be. You can't just give it to people. I know what you think, Stricto.
That's it. And most importantly, they haven't won it. They haven't won it.
You have getting. I could listen.
I don't care what anybody says. They haven't won it. Do you remember that season where United were? I think it was 98 season where United were like 13 points. Obviously, Liverpool a lot more got a bigger lead now, but United were 13 points or 12 points clear of Arsenal. Yeah, and we came back to win the league. Or even when Newcastle were way ahead of United, and United came back to win the league. You can't just say, "Raw, because this team is ahead, they've won it. No, we don't work like that. That's why there is a mathematical conclusion. And the mathematical conclusion, as said, Liverpool are as likely to win the league as Leicester or City. That's what it currently says right now.
Oh, this guy here, Liverpool fan since 2007 is his handle, right? Obviously not very happy with you. He says, no Champions League for Banter FC. He's obviously talking about us. You've stirred the pot with the Liverpool fans. They're not happy. This guy makes a good point, though. He says, occupying paramedics and doctors at a game when they can be more useful at the NHS. There's that as well, isn't there? Clap
for the NHS. Exactly. 100%. 100%. 100%. This isn't. I mean, to be honest, like I haven't been keeping up the news lately, but last time I heard, like 15,000 people have died. This isn't no joke of a thing.
It's over 20,000 now. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
There you go.
This guy says, all the salty Liverpool fans getting angry makes me glad that they ain't getting it now. Laugh out loud. I think people, including you, Stricto, you guys are wicked, man. I mean, this was going to be their. This was going to be their year. I mean, it would be cruel for them not to get it.
Now, like I heard DT say they should give them a certification. Like, well done, you done well to get this far. I think they should get that. Do you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's not mathematical. It's not clear yet. It's not one of them ones where like it's. I don't know what the Scottish League is, but I'm sure Celtic or Bobby won it already. It's not one of those ones where you can't give it to them. Otherwise, you would just be giving it to them. I'm sure Liverpool fans would want to earn the league. They've been waiting so long.
If you're looking at what's happening, I mean, I don't know in the French one yet. I don't know what they've decided on the outcome. But basically, in Holland, there's no team winning it and there's no team being relegated. So it'd be good as well for, teams like Villa and Norwich and all that. They'll be jumping up and down as well. Very happy with and Brighton and teams like that with the conclusion. And but you're right. You can't if it's voided. You can't really just hand it out like that, can you?
No, you can't. It's then other teams can complain. Like, why is Liverpool, particularly Leicester and City? Why has Liverpool been given the league? And I'm sure Liverpool fans will know, even if they awarded the league, that will still be banter, because people will say you never won the league on merit. You never earned it.
We lost your volume. Sorry, we lost your volume a bit there, Stricto.
Hold on. Can you
hear me? We lost your volume a bit. Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you now. We'd lost your volume a bit. This guy is saying Liverpool have never won the Premier League. The world just doesn't like Liverpool. What's this turned into a Liverpool? Are people on Liverpool's case? This guy's not happy with you.
Hold on.
This guy's not happy with you. He says Pratt. And you can see he's a Liverpool fan. They're not happy with you, Stricto. They're not happy with you.
They're not meant to be happy. They're not meant to be happy. It's meant to be facts.
Jaden says if you void the season, Liverpool should be the only team in the Champions League next year, as they're the only team that mathematically qualified.
Give them that. They're used to winning that. That's no problem. Give them that.
No, but you can't just
give it to them every day.
You can't hand out things.
You can't hand out things. Of course, you can't hand out things. Like, it's not mathematical. Like, do you know what? Yeah, if Liverpool had beat Watford, did they draw before Watford or after Watford?
They drew before Watford.
Yeah, but there would have been in fact, it don't even matter. As long as it's not mathematically clear, I don't want to hear it. You understand? I don't want to hear it. Okay,
so Stricto's come on here to be very popular with the Liverpool fans that jump on here, but he doesn't want to hear it.
I got so many Liverpool fans, like so many mates who are Liverpool fans, and they know where I stand with this. So yeah, it's not.
and there's a lot of Arsenal fans agreeing with you, and a lot of the fans here that are agreeing with you, Stricto. This guy, Sebastian, says the universe is making Liverpool fans walk alone. It would be very harsh on Liverpool because we've got to admit they have been superb this season, haven't they?
Oh yeah, come on, like they've been the best team. Do you know what I'm saying? They've been the best team, like unstoppable with it in nearly every position. Do you know what I'm saying? They've cooked clean and ironed better than every team in the league this season. So yeah, but the fact is they don't deserve it yet.
Do you know the thing about this, right? I mean, as I said, over here, the intention is to complete the season, right? That is the intention, that, you know, and to complete it behind closed doors. But you've already raised a couple of things that would cause problems. But also what we got to factor in is if the government turn around and say, that's it, then, because that's what's happened in France and that's what's happened in Holland. Basically, it's the government who said none of these events until September. Now, if we were to do a similar thing over here, that's it. The season will be over.
I think like this is deeper than football. It's bigger than football, isn't it? Like it's lives at stake. It's bigger than football. It's unfortunate. This is affecting everyone. Like put aside footballers for a second, but there's people out there, self-employed, who haven't even been able to earn any money during this time. Do you understand? Because it's deeper than football. Like it's a world crisis. So I think Liverpool fans, I'm sure they know deep down that it's one of those really unlucky events. Obviously there's banter to it, but put that aside, like, people are dying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? My mom's frontline NHS. My mom's working frontline NHS. Like, people are dying.
Oh, respect to her. Respect to her.
So yeah, let's put that in perspective.
Mr. A says reports from the BBC and French reports are that PSG will be awarded the title, and the rest of the table will be decided by PPG. So he's saying that the reports are that PSG would be awarded the title. So if that's the case, then surely that would be the same in England. That because I'm sure, I don't know how far ahead PSG are, but I'm not sure if they're as far ahead as what Liverpool are over here in the Premier League.
They're 12 or 13 points with 11 games.
Surely, if that acted as like a precedent, you'd have to award it to Liverpool then, because Liverpool are what? They're 20 odd points ahead.
Yeah, but the French league's different. Like, PSG always win it. Did you read that the rest of the league's meant to be decided by PSG? Is that what you said?
PPG.
Oh,
so,
okay. That sounds too much like PSG. They got too much power.
Declan says, question for Stricto. What happened to the season ticket? Now, Stricto, you're very infamous on AFTV, because I remember the time when I interviewed you, one of the first times I'd ever met you, and you were so angry that day that you threw your season ticket away. That was in the days of Emery, and said that you weren't coming back. But you did come back. So what happened to the season ticket?
Yeah, like someone actually came to give it to me. Was like, managed to calm me down. I was like, yeah, mate, I know how you feel, but at the end of the day, it's about coming here, cheering on the team, whatever. So yeah, I got the ticket back. And you know what? Like, the honest truth is, football for us as fans, no matter how much we cuss, it's like an abusive relationship. It's a very toxic relationship. You're always gonna go back. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna support your club, no matter what, win, lose, or draw. No matter how you feel after the game, you're always guided to look out for your club. Even if you don't go to the game, you're still gonna be checking your phone. Still gonna be looking for their results. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so yeah, I got my season ticket back. So yeah, that was a good outcome. And Emery went. Most importantly, Emery went, because his style of football just became dull.
Connor says, Robbie, if the season was to restart, do you think we'd be able to get play Saliba, considering the French league is now finished? I don't think that would happen. I think Saliba wouldn't be able to come in until our season is finished. So I don't think that would happen. This guy says, Boris, Arnav, he says, Boris, cancel up, mate. If you don't, you're a hammer. So he obviously wants the season to be kept. But it could be handed to Liverpool if it was cancelled. If what that guy's saying is, the over in France, they're going to hand it to PSG, then, they might hand it to Liverpool.
That'd be weird for a Conservative giving something to the Red, isn't it?
He's a Chelsea fan as well, so I don't think he'd be looking to do favours for Liverpool. This guy's going, why does Stricto match day attire consist of a smart brown coat and a hoodie? It makes no sense. He's bopping on your style, man. Stricto.
That man don't understand how cold it is, Robbie, tell them how cold it is in these games.
Very cold.
It's strictly to keep warm.
What this guy's sort of agreeing with you, Stricto. He says, what is more important, the feeling of Liverpool fans and the club, or the health and players' health? He says ridiculous. So he's siding with you. And also is this guy, Jimmy, says, give Liverpool a certificate of participation and pat them on the back for a decent performance in the Premier League. This guy's a Liverpool fan, says, remember, Arsenal are 10th. Well, actually, no, we're 9th. So you got that wrong as well. It's not going well for Liverpool fans at all. You've wound them up. I'm telling you, they're jumping on hard here, man. You've wound them up, Stricto, tonight with this, right?
Tell them to go on my Insta. Tell them to go on my Insta. This is nothing. They go on my Instagram.
Well, you know what? There's also another story that's emerging today as well. Now, I don't know what you've made of this story. Now, this story, obviously, we've got Brexit that's happened now. So we're no longer part of the EU. Now we're learning today that, there's going to be some consequences of this. If I just read you what I was reading there earlier, that players from the European Union will now have to go for a points-based system under new plans. Players from the European Union will have to go through this point system under new proposals. The Football Association, Premier League, and the Home Office will decide on a criteria for such players to obtain a work permit, which could come into force as early as next year. The impact on player transfers and movement was described by the FA as the most significant risk of Brexit. I don't know what you think about this. I mean, this is an article that's in the BBC, on BBC's website today, and they go on to say that the points-based system or governing body endorsements is designed to enable the best talents to play in England, but put restrictions in place so as not to disadvantage young, homegrown players. Non-EU overseas players are currently graded according to factors such as their transfer fee, proposed wages, world ranking of their country, the league in which they play in, and for how many minutes they've played for a previous club. And if that comes in, that is going to be a major change, Stricto, because you've seen in the past that I was saying to you earlier that I remember what's the guy we signed, the Nigerian player? Me and Kelechi were talking about it the other day. I think it's Enwakali. He never played one game for Arsenal because he couldn't get a work permit, because he hadn't played international games for Nigeria. So this could have a massive effect. A lot of players that get signed may not be able to come anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna mess that up. And obviously transfer deadline day will get messed up as well if you think about it. Because obviously that's literally the last minute buys. So you can't really buy someone if you don't know whether or not they've got the right paperwork to come in.
Yeah, well, it would be quite literally like what happens to a lot of it. So at the moment, if you're buying a player from, say, Brazil or any place from out of the EU, it's very difficult to get those players if they haven't, like, say, played internationally for their country. Now, on the one hand, it will be great for young players at the academies because it means that clubs now are going to have to give those players more of a chance. So that means that automatically a player like a Saka will be even more valuable now because homegrown exceptional talent and teams that have good academies will benefit from this. But also it will mean that there's a lot of players that have come over over the years that didn't, maybe they weren't international. I mean, somebody like, let's look at it like, well, I suppose it's not a great example. I was going to say Martinelli. I think Martinelli actually has got some Italian roots or something like that, which enabled him to come over. But that's the only reason he's been able to come here. But there could be other players like, I don't know, say a Guendouzi, if they brought this rule in. He wouldn't have played internationally for France before he came here. He came from the French second division. Arsenal wouldn't be able to sign a player like that under these new restrictions.
It's crazy. Obviously, it's done to encourage more of the homegrown players, but football is an international game. Like, it's worldwide. Like, it's one of those things that has always been outside of politics. Do you understand? So then to just kind of bring a bit of politics into it is kind of dead, to be honest. Do you know what I'm saying? You got players. It's about talent. Football's about talent. And if you're unfortunate enough to have the talent, but because whatever reason haven't made an international appearance, then that kind of sucks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you said, there's some players that, like the likes of Guendouzi, who we wouldn't have been able to bring along, you know, because of these things. I feel like they should really put politics aside from football. Like, if you look at it, the reason why they generally have all these immigration stuff is to stop people coming into the country to take advantage of the resources. These players are coming in, they earn crazy money. Do you know what I'm saying? They get taxed hell of a lot. So they actually put it more into the country. So I think there needs to be some sort of like a leeway. I'm not saying immigrants who do come here don't put into this country. They do, of course. But if you're looking at purely the economical sense, a lot of football's a billion pound business. You know, maybe even £1 trillion business. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've got to leave the politics out of this one, to be honest.
I think this could be a major thing in football. I mean, over here in the Premier League. I mean, Suradip says, Robbie, this can promote homegrown players in England. About time. That is true. So on the one hand, you've got that, but then on the other hand, the Premier League is a worldwide brand. And one of the reasons, I think, one of the things people like about the Premier League is that you've got players from all over the world playing, and obviously particularly a lot of players from Europe. And now a lot of those players may not be able to come unless they are, you know, international players or players that have, you know, meet this criteria. We're not sure exactly how strict this criteria will be, but they're saying that it's going to be along the similar lines as what a player that's coming from outside of the EU has to meet, and that is quite stringent. This guy says that English players are expensive. That's why teams opt to buy outside, but this will reduce. I mean, on the one, it's a good. It's got its pros and its cons because we all want to see more homegrown talent making it all the way. It's better for the country as well, for the international team. But then, is it gonna, for you, Stricto, does it make the brand of the Premier League, does it lessen that brand?
Of course, like by a mile. You know, like the foreign players bring so much into the Premier League brand. And if you're going to all of a sudden now kind of stem that, or, you know, like that's just gonna kill it. Like, okay, think about it now. Look at Jadon Sancho. He's been able to go abroad, make a name for himself, you know, on a big stage, whatever. And obviously that's also going to affect homegrown players going abroad. Now, homegrown players can, like, if you're good enough, you'll play. It's as simple as that. Like, if you're good enough, you will play. I'm not saying our homegrown players aren't good enough, but like you said, transfer fees is a lot cheaper to get the players from abroad to come in. Not every player you buy abroad is a superstar.
I don't agree with you completely when you say if you're a homegrown player, if you're good enough, you'll play. I don't agree with that because there's a lot of homegrown players that are good enough that don't get a game. You only got to look at the kid at Man City. Foden. He's good enough to play for practically any. He's not getting a game.
Yeah, but then
he's
got to move from City. I'm saying you're good enough to play. You're not. Maybe you might not be good enough in that squad, but you're good enough to play in any other club.
Over the years, Stricto, is that you've had kids that have been good enough to play, but they don't get a chance. They don't get a chance to play because they'll go abroad and bring somebody in. Let's just get this one in. Trent says Dimasio is confirming that Spurs will be going for Koulibaly. Should we be worried about falling further behind? I don't think Spurs are going to get Koulibaly. No chance.
Why would he go to Spurs? Why would he go to Spurs?
Why would he go to Spurs? And where would they get the money to do that? They want to furlough their staff. Where are they going to get £90 million to buy Koulibaly? Yeah, rubbish.
That's rubbish. That's rubbish. Spurs been going for the Premier League for the title for years and ain't got that. So let's part that to the side.
This guy, Brave Hats, he says foreign players also attract foreign fans, thereby indirectly, directly increasing the fan base globally. That's true. And that's another thing that the Premier League has to take into account because they do have a massive global fan base. Listen, this doesn't mean that you wouldn't have any foreign players. You're still going to have foreign players. It just makes it more difficult for some of these young foreign players in particular that we've seen come in. It's going to make them a lot harder for some of those players to come in. I mean, I'm just looking around. There's some top players at the moment playing. Then when I think about it, they wouldn't be. Adama Traore at Wolves. He's not played for Spain, has he? I don't think he would have met the criteria. So we wouldn't be seeing him. St. Maximin, that player at Newcastle, you wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
There's several players like that.
Yeah, no, it's just that. And, you know, I don't think Premier League have to fight against that. I mean, for their interest anyway, because their marketing is based on that global brand. And if you just strictly kind of restrict it, it kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be dead. Like, it's going to be dead.
This guy, Akash, is saying, Robbie, please repeat what you're talking about. No foreign players in the Premier League. Why? I didn't say no foreign players. What I'm saying is, because of Brexit, obviously, we're no longer part of the European Union. Now, there's been freedom of movement around the European Union. So a player playing over in France, like we said, we use Guendouzi as an example, who was playing in the French second division, could be bought in to play at Arsenal, and he's quite easily just comes over and joins Arsenal. Whereas if Guendouzi was playing in Brazil or Russia or any of those countries that are outside the European Union, he would have had to have passed a certain criteria before he would have been allowed into play. And a lot of times you've got to be an international player, you play, and not just an international player, played a certain amount of games at an international level, etc., to be able to qualify to come into play. Now, that means that under this new criteria, you might not have a player like Guendouzi being able to come to Arsenal because he wouldn't get a work permit. You'd still be able to get your top players, but players, up-and-coming players like that, Saliba, you wouldn't be able to sign a Saliba because so it could have a major effect on the Premier League brand because you're not going to get those sort of players. Let me get on to a lot of people are going with this one, which has been going on for days. Aubameyang going to Chelsea. That's still a rumor that's out there. Still reports that Chelsea are trying to get him. Then the next day, someone else. And what's your thoughts on the whole Aubameyang situation? We talk about it literally every day, but what's your thoughts on it, Stricto?
Well, if he's going at this rate, I think he is going. For me, it's a case of where is he going to, and I think as fans, this is what we're gonna start looking at. If he's going abroad, I will drop him to the airport myself. I'll be happy to do that. But if he's staying in a country, then it might be a problem. You know, because we love Aubameyang. Like, that love is exclusive for Arsenal fans to him, and his love for us is exclusive. And if he goes, it's like your girl leaving you to go to your brother. It's too close to home. Do you know what I mean? It's too close to home. If she wants to fly to Brazil to go and link another man, I'm probably easier to deal with that. So I'm sold on him going anyway, because I saw something about his dad. He must have posted up.
Yeah, his dad posted it.
Sign the thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like they were kind of taking a pee there. I felt like, raw. Is he saying that because he knows he's going? I never saw that as a positive.
You didn't see it as a positive. I thought it was positive.
No. I saw it as like, raw. He's saying that. Huh?
You think it's a smoke screen?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, 100%. After I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's definitely going. But if he's going, then he's gonna either go back to Germany, he's gonna go back or go to Spain. You know, I know Real Madrid have been rumored to get him, then go there. Do you understand? I could deal with that, but I can't deal with the backflips doing that at another club. No way. All of that, nah, I can't deal with that. You can do that in Spain. Don't do that over here.
This guy says other swap deal with Willian plus cash.
No. Like, why are we a retirement home for these Chelsea players? Why? If Willian is not good enough for Chelsea, he's not good enough for us. Simple as that. And he's gonna come to Arsenal. Like, if you look at our team, our left side is probably our most productive side. And he's gonna come and block Saka's destiny. No. Keep Willian, or Willian goes somewhere else.
And on top of that, he's reported that he wants about 120 grand a week.
Yeah, he's mad. Like, we always constantly complaining about players' wages. Like, this guy's, if Chelsea don't want to pay him, why should we pay him?
True. Trent says, if Aubameyang leaves for Chelsea, I honestly think the fans will revolt with something we haven't seen before. You thought Wenger out was bad. So he's saying that, you know, fans will revolt if, I don't know if they'll revolt. It would all depend on who we'd get in to replace him. But certainly there'd be a lot of anger. You know, if he does go to Chelsea. This guy says Aubameyang hasn't said anything because the media will change what would be said. And says he's leaving, causing a new rumor. I mean, Aubameyang hasn't said anything because obviously they're still trying to sort out where he's going to go, whether he goes to another club or whether he, you know, stays at Arsenal or whatever. I mean, they're still sorting. So his agent will say to him that, you know, he shouldn't say anything, and that's the done thing. But it's very worrying at the moment.
Yeah, you gotta come out and say, I really hate this kind of stuff. Like, there needs to be transparency, man. Like, if you don't want to stay, cool. If you want to stay, even better. But just sort it out. Like, stop all this. Just stinks of that whole Van Persie thing all over again. Do you know what I mean? And that's why probably that guy was saying it'll probably be a revolt, because that Van Persie one was heartbreaking. Do you know what I mean? And now we've got a player who connects with the fans. Like, Aubameyang really connects with the Arsenal fans. Do you know what I mean? This whole social media thing, like, we've taken well to him. I remember before he came, there was a lot of rumors saying that, not even rumors, but there was a lot of talk of like, he's gonna be destructive in the changing room and so on. And he's been the total opposite of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been the captain. Like, he's literally been a very responsible player. So I think if you're gonna keep to that, just be responsible enough to say, look, I'm chasing ambitions elsewhere. And if you're faithful to us, do it abroad.
Okay.
You'll get a send off. And if you do come back with that team, you get, like, remember when Henry came back with Barcelona? and we got the maximum applause. You get that, but don't be doing that in the Premier League. But if you're watching,
if he goes to Chelsea, I'll tell you what, he won't be careful. He'll need to be escorted in.
You know what? Chelsea probably give us back Giroud. We'll probably, just to take the piss, they'll probably give us back Giroud. Nah, that can't happen.
Carol says we should boycott games if Aubameyang goes to Chelsea. It's the last straw.
It's literally the last straw. He's right.
Tommy says, Robbie, apparently Aubameyang made a U-turn and now he's ready to sign a new deal. Have you heard this rumor? Listen, there's so many. 1 minute he's made a U-turn, then he's driven off again back to Chelsea, then he's linked to Barcelona. Certainly, listen, I said this. I don't want to be wise after the event. I said this about nearly 2 weeks ago. I said, if you look at the clubs out there that he could go to, the only obvious one to me is Chelsea. Because of the coronavirus crisis, he ain't going to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid. He ain't going to go to Inter. He's not going to go to Roma. He's not going to go to PSG, especially now that the season's ended like how it is. Those real big, Juventus ain't going to take. So those real big clubs have all got their strikers already. And because of the coronavirus and money's limited, they're not going to go out there and splash out 40, 50 million pounds on Aubameyang, right? Who's over 30 now. Right from the offset, though, the one club I looked at and thought, you know what, they need a striker and they could afford to pay it is Chelsea because of Abramovich. They're one team that could circumvent the whole coronavirus thing because of his personal wealth and the way he deals with things, right? So Chelsea could be a place where he could end up, but I agree with you. I mean, what sort of a message does it send if we still be making our top players go to rivals? I mean, you know, it would be terrible. I mean, this guy, David says, fans would forgive Aubameyang for leaving. They wouldn't be forgiving him if he went to Chelsea.
Oh, man, I couldn't imagine that. Imagine him doing them backflips in blue at the Emirates.
Kevin says,
no.
This guy says, Chelsea are a project club, the same as us right now. They're in a state of transition from losing Hazard. The question is, do they show more ambition than Arsenal? Well, listen, they've got Abramovich there, and Abramovich is a guy that's always driven to win. He is a sort of guy that would sign him.
But don't you feel like over the past 2 years that Abramovich has kind of lost a bit of interest in that Chelsea project?
Well, they still lost a bit of interest. They still won the Europa League, beating us. Right? Yeah, and maybe he's not got. Yeah, maybe he's not gone all in like he's. But they had that back. You see, the thing is as well with Chelsea. That's the other thing. That's going to slightly work in their favour now. They had that transfer ban, so they didn't really outlay a lot as what they normally would do. Because obviously they had the ban. Just before the ban, they bought what's his name? The player they got from America. They bought him in. Pulisic, and they bought in now Ziyech. But they, in recent times, in comparison to what Chelsea normally spent, they haven't really spent that. But now they're going to be able to go hard again, and you know Abramovich's money's there. So,
listen, Raul, Edu, if Abba goes, they need to follow him as well and go. Simple as that. No,
you be that harsh,
bro. If Aubameyang deserves a better club, then so do we as Arsenal fans. Like, there is no way them lot should let that happen. This is our star man. I'm not saying you can't sell him. You do not sell him to our closest rival. You do not do that. That's unforgivable from the club. Absolutely unforgivable. So if you're gonna sell him, do business abroad. Don't do it in-house in this country. No way. Not having that.
All right. Matthew says, Arsenal get bullied in every way. Top clubs sell us their flops while we sell them title winners. With Newcastle being taken over in football, Arsenal is ruined. Well, I mean, that's another big boy that's going to be involved now, isn't it? In Newcastle, we'll have lots of money to spend.
Yeah, but you was talking about that whole points-based system thing. So that might all of these cash-strapped clubs might struggle with all of this the new point-based system thing with these players.
They'd
So,
still be
but
able to buy
Newcastle,
top players, though.
huh?
They'd still be able to buy top players.
Well, I suppose Aubameyang's actually in the country as well, so I suppose it makes it even easier. But now he ain't going to Newcastle. Come on, like I don't even know what shopping. Have they got Selfridges up there? Like these places aren't a draw to the top players. Do you know what I mean? Like you got Oxford Street here. Like he's not going there.
Listen, if you go out there and you're getting 300 grand a week, you can take a helicopter down to Oxford Street, buy what you got to buy, and then take a helicopter back up, right? The Saudis taking over that team, yeah? You think man's going to business about any Oxford Street? They can build their own Oxford Street. No, I mean, those men can send a guy down, which is what a lot of these footballers do, actually, by the way. Send somebody down to shop for them. You know, it's obviously not
London is a draw for them. London is always a draw for these players.
London is a draw, but so is money.
That's true. London plus money is even better.
London plus money, yeah. This guy's calling us retirement FC.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. If that William deal happens, he's not wrong.
Would you take this one for you, Stricto? Yeah, he's asked me, but I'll ask you as well. Would you take Abramovich over Kroenke?
Yes, of course. Abramovich. Listen,
of course you would.
Abramovich. There's things of Abramovich I would take, and certain things I wouldn't take. Like he's very the chopping of heads. Like he loves to chop off heads quick. Like I don't really like that side of him. But the spending of the money, the Queen's head, I'll take him over Kroenke any day.
All right. Abdallah says a FIFA medical chief has said that no football game should restart in the coming months, at least till September. Thoughts? I didn't see that, but
Cancel the league. Why is the league starting in September for? What's that about?
You're desperate for this league to be cancelled, isn't it? And I think your motive is just to mess up Liverpool. I want to see football come back, man.
I want to see it come back. I can't lie to you, but I want to see it come back fresh in August.
All right, I tell you what, right? I can't wait to see you going up to Anfield next season. Yeah, man.
All love, man.
Trust me, there are going to be some guys there saying, you know, Stanley. And then Cody saying, if the season is voided and they go by points per game system, then Arsenal will miss out on the Champions League.
Cool. The season's a write-off.
That's why I think a lot of Arsenal fans don't care. I've noticed I've spoken to a lot on here over the weeks. I've spoken to a lot of Arsenal fans out on road, you know, socially distancing, by the way, right? Before anyone says anything.
Put that in there.
Right? And I've got to say, the general thing is just, void it, man. Void it. And that's because we've been having such a crappy season. So they're just like, void it, man. Who cares? Void it. But obviously, could you imagine if that was us? And we're like 20 points ahead or something like that. And they turn around and there's a possibility the season will be voided. I mean, I'd be vexed. We spoke to Drifty the other day, obviously Liverpool fan, and he's not happy at all, man. He said I said to him, I go, if it was me, I wouldn't want the league to be handed to me either, because when the league's handed to you, everyone's always going to have that little asterisk next to your name. They're all going to be saying, no, you never really won it though, and things like that forever. And he said he don't care. He said he just wants that title because, you know, they've waited for so long for it. So it's pretty deep for Liverpool fans.
Yeah, it's deep. But H&S, health and safety should be first in every. When you get into a car, what they tell you to do, you put on your seatbelt. Health and safety first. Before you even start the engine, you put on your seatbelt. So let's stick to that simple principle there. Yeah, can't be handing out. They haven't won it. That's the most important thing. So if you give it to them, you're only giving it to them based on potential. You're not giving it like they haven't earned it. To earn the league means you've earned it mathematically. They haven't earned it. So if you're giving it to them, you're giving it to them because they're potentially on their way. So could City. So could Leicester.
Yeah, but come on, they're not going to catch Liverpool.
No, I don't want to hear. Come on, Robbie. I don't want to hear. Let's stick to facts.
They have to win every game, and
let's stick to facts, Robbie. Let's stick to the facts. The fact is, Liverpool haven't won the league. So if you give them the league, it has to be a different league to people who have won it mathematically. It has to be different. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a plastic, but not plastic. That's a bit. Maybe a pot. Give them a pot. Like what's the material? What's the material? Flower pots are made from. Give that to them. You can't give them what you've given people who have earned it because they haven't earned it yet.
You're gonna get killed. Trent says if Aubameyang does leave and we botch his replacement, how many years will it set us back? Or do you think we could cope? If Aubameyang goes, actually, let me ask that question stricto. If Aubameyang goes, what would you do? How would you then? Would you bring in another striker, or would you? Because I've sort of come up with it, looked at it and said, well, there might be another way of playing then. So if Aubameyang goes, you could have Lacazette down the middle, you could have Pepe on one side, Martinelli on the other side, or you could have Saka on one side, you could have Martinelli down the middle, Pepe on the other side, or you could even play Pepe as a striker. There are options if he goes, and then we could possibly take that money and bring in a very good holding midfielder or improving those wing back positions, which is, because you can see how Arteta wants to play, and maybe if Aubameyang went, it might balance the team out a bit. I don't know.
Of course, if he goes, we've had plenty of fine strikers go before, and we've adapted perfectly fine. It could give Martinelli a chance in the middle. I mean, there's so many different combinations that you can try and work out. I don't think it'll be difficult to work out a combination, but obviously where Aubameyang is proven, that's where the difference will lie. Like, who will come in to prove themselves in that role? Now, do we go out and buy a new striker? Like Aubameyang, I think I remember you saying in one of our interviews, he never gets injured. So many pluses in him staying, and so if he does go, who are you bringing in who's going to come and almost replicate what he's done in a short time? Timo Werner, are we really going to be spending 80 million? Arsenal really going to buy a striker for a player? I mean, obviously we bought Pepe for 72 million, but that's installments. And that's probably the only reason why that happened. But are we able to buy from Leipzig? Are they going to allow us to buy a player we can pay in installments? No, I doubt it very much.
This guy says if Aubameyang goes, Kroenke should go. Mr. Bobbington says, man like Stricto is just mad because Liverpool is the best club in the world at the moment and his precious Arsenal are trash. You never walk alone, he says.
I've never seen them win the Premier League.
And Cohen Cole says, I'm sending the Terminator to your house, Stricto. Liverpool fans are on you, man. They're on you.
No, they're on to me. They're on to me, man. They're on to me. But they, at the end of the day, they know I'm talking facts. They know I'm talking facts. They can give you the league. That's cool. But just be prepared for the banter, innit? Leicester were never given the league. Blackburn was never given the league. Chelsea were never given the league. United were never given the league. City were never given the league. And Arsenal were never given the league. So there'll be banter on top of that. So are they prepared for that banter?
Yeah, if I was a Liverpool fan, right? If I was a Liverpool fan, Well, actually, let me even just rephrase it. If I was an Arsenal fan, well, I am an Arsenal fan. I wouldn't want the league in that way. I'm sorry, like even if I'm 20 points ahead or whatever, if the season finished and then they turn around and say, right, we're just going to give it to you guys because I'd be like, you know what? Nah, man. Keep that. We'll come back and win it the next year. That's what I'd be feeling. I'd be like, I don't want it like that. Although, as I said, I spoke to Drifty last week or the week before, and he said he'll take it because he goes, they've waited so long for it, he'll take it that way. But I wouldn't want it that way. But, everybody's different. Off says, Aubameyang going doesn't mean the end of Arsenal. It may be the beginning of good things. Coutinho leaving was the start of a great Liverpool. That's a great point.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Difference was always the difference was sorry.
There's always like in these situations where you think, right, we're finished here when this guy goes or this this guy leaves, but there's always something that pops up. Remember, Anelka leaving was the reason we got Thierry Henry.
Very true, very true. The only thing I'd say with the Coutinho one is that they got a lot of money for him, and they were able to go and get Van Dijk. They were able to go and get Alisson. We won't get a lot of money for Aubameyang.
How much do you reckon we'll get for him?
No more than 40 million.
40?
No more than that.
They should get me in that room. I promise you, I'll negotiate 60 mil.
You wouldn't get 60 mil. He's got 1 year. He's got 1 year left. Yeah, he's got 1 year left, Stricto.
Doesn't get injured.
And he's 30, right? And so if you're even one of them top clubs, you can say, right, all right, well, especially with this coronavirus thing, no chance of we getting that sort of money for him. No way, no way. If he was 22, yes, we could be talking 80, 90 million, stuff for 100 million. But it's the age, the fact that he doesn't have long left on that contract. I can't see it. It's 40 million tops.
No, I reckon you can get 60. I reckon you get 60. You can get 60 for.
No. You won't. I can
easily play. I think the only stumbling block is the fact of how long he's got left on his contract. I think that's probably the only reason why he'll go.
Players have like a year left on their contract. No, the teams that's going to buy them, they're not paying big. The player can even just run the contract down and leave for nothing and go to the club that wants him. I just can't see it being a huge transfer fee. I really can't. We're going to get a few more, and we've been really grateful for all the comments. I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Comments like mad, and a lot of them are for you, Stricto. I think this is somebody who's right behind you, though, Stricto. Robert Lackman, he says, give Liverpool the Audi Cup trophy with the title. With the title, congratulations on gaining a lot of points.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Congratulations on gaining a lot of points. And this is a nice one. This is a nice one. It says, give the NHS the title from a Liverpool fan. That's nice.
Let's clap on that.
Oh, wow. And then there was one that I just saw, and I look at it. So this is how Chelsea fans are feeling already. Ziyech, Aubameyang, and Pulisic. What a front line.
That makes me sick. That makes me absolutely sick. Hold on, Robbie. What's your thoughts on the Williams situation?
You like what you said earlier. Why would we want to go and get a guy? He's 31. He's a good player, a very, very good player. But why would you be thinking to sell Aubameyang, who's 30? He's younger, and who's, Golden Boot winner last season, could possibly win the Golden Boot again. When he came in his first season, scored bags of goals from January to the end of the season, proven goal scorer. Why would you be thinking to sell him? It's rumours at the moment, by the way. But why would we not giving him a contract? But then we're going to go and give Willian 120 grand a week. No chance. And I'm like you, I'm fed up. Like you said, I'm fed up with these players that the cast-offs from other teams. Petr Cech. You know, when Chelsea done squeeze out every last drop.
Squeeze everything out of him. And then
they send him over to us.
You know? Mikel Silvestre. Remember Mikel Silvestre?
Silvestre. When he done out here at United, they're like, actually, we're sending you down to Arsenal. And then in exchange now, we're sending our best players to other teams. And
Ashley Cole, Van Persie,
Nasri, Clichy, Alexis Sanchez, Adebayor. How many more? How many more? This has got to stop. The mentality of this football club has to change. And the mentality has to say, you know what? Aubameyang, you're staying. And you know what? Even if your contract runs down and we lose money, you're staying. To me, that would be sending a big sign about a mentality change at Arsenal.
For sure.
Like you said, if it's a club from abroad, all right, this is how much we want for him, you can go. And then we'll use that money to rebuild and in other areas or whatever. But if it's Chelsea, Manchester United, any of them teams, no. Sorry, Aubameyang, you ain't going to none of them places.
Oh, man.
And if you want to go there, it's going to be on you. You're going to have to run your contract down and then you go there and it's on you. That's how we have to start behaving. We cannot be giving away our best players. So the Willian thing, when I see that, it gets me annoyed. What?
Six years too late. 6 years too late. 6 years too late.
Yeah, come on, man. Why would we be? And then we've got a lot of good players in that area. We've got Saka.
Our left side is Martinelli. Our left side has been our most profitable area.
Yeah. What do you know? You're stunting the growth of those young players by bringing in. You know, it's just not required at the moment. That is not what I want to see coming in at Arsenal. So I am so against that Willian thing. You know, and I'm so against selling Aubameyang. And if it comes down to it and Aubameyang says, I want to go, then you say, all right, you're going, but you're going abroad. You ain't going to no English club. That is how I want to see us operate. Because Aubameyang, it could be him himself wanting to go, fair enough, but you ain't going to no English club. Because Arsenal Football Club have stopped selling to our rivals. That's what I want to see from Raul, from Edu, and ultimately from Stan Kroenke, the guy up the top it's up to him what happens. And until we do that, we're always going to get this banter against us. It has to stop. But enough of the big speech. We're going to do a couple more. Demetrius says, if Arsenal keep buying old cast-offs, the club will be a glorified MLS club.
Basically,
yeah.
That's what we are. It's like Arsenal become that top club, but the bottom of the top clubs. So a player still keeps that prestige of still playing for a top club, but the bottom of it that can't keep happening.
It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And you know, as I said, it's about a mentality change.
And that's what I was hoping Raul and Edu would come and sort out. Like, yeah, they've come now that Gazidis is gone. Like everything is changing, but it's still looking like the same old Arsenal. It's still looking like this. How we even let a man run his contract down? How are we still here again?
And they said they weren't going to allow that. Remember?
I remember they said, we're here again, and it's a top player. It's our best player, our star man, top goal scorer. Come on, come on. Man, I'm actually getting fed up. The two things need to change. Players need to stop coming to us to retire, and our best players need to stop going to. Like it's ridiculous. We're not Tottenham. That only happens to Tottenham. That don't happen to us.
Yeah. This is going to be the final one for the night. This is Milo. He says, I don't know about this stunting growth of young players. Arsenal saw by this, which I think he means Arsenal stood by this, which saw us missing out on a lot of top players. We need experience quality, although not Willian, to guide the young boys. Yeah, you need experience, you need quality, but not Willian. And we've seen Saka have a great season. He's ready for, I feel, first team football week in, week out. You've seen Martinelli. He looks like a player who's ready for first team football week in, week out. You will be stunting it. You will be stunting it by
blocking their destiny. Your destiny blocking, you know. But Robbie, before we go, let me just get a chance to, can I plug in my socials? Yeah,
hold on. Let me just last comment here. United Optimism says, Robbie, you're talking as a fan, but don't forget this is a business, and the owners don't care if you offer them good money, he is gone. But I don't agree with that, because Manchester United would not sell Pogba to Liverpool. They wouldn't, would they?
Never.
They would not sell Pogba to Liverpool, and also Liverpool would not sell Salah to Manchester United.
No way.
So
you're right. It's bad for business.
Sometimes there's things that you look at and you say, yeah, it'd be great. You know, the money would be good, but I can't do it. It's a bit like if somebody comes up to me and says, Robbie, I'll give you 50 grand right now to put on a Tottenham shirt. I'm not doing it. The money would be great. You know what I mean? I could do big things with that money. But the price to pay of putting that dirty thing on, I'm not doing it. So it's the same. You do not sell your best player, your very best player, the only player that's been a shining light for us over the past couple of seasons, to your rivals. And how many more times with Alexis, Manchester United, Robin van Persie, Manchester United? How many more times? No, it has to stop, and it has to stop this year. All right, big up your socials.
I'm like, look, the guy was saying it's business, but there's things that are bad for business that even if it will profit your company or your business, you don't do, because eventually it's, in the long run, it's bad for your business.
Exactly.
So that's why that can't run.
Exactly. Well, listen, Stricto, thanks for coming on, man. Big up your social.
Plug in, Robbie. Ain't plugged in yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plug it.
All right.
Actually, there's a bad connection. You're disappearing.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Bad connection. Bad connection.
All right. Anyway, the Instagram, B for Bellerin, H for Hector _ Stricto. The YouTube is Big Stricto. Twitter, your big homie Stricto. But do the Instagram and the YouTube, because I'm more active on those two. So BH _
B for Bellerin, H for Hector. B for Bellerin, H for Hector _ Stricto.
There you go, Robbie.
All right. Liverpool fans, get over there right now. Get over there right now. This is the guy who's been bantering you up since the start of the show. Now, Stricto, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Thanks for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Robbie, anytime.
Yeah, man, we're having you back on. Definitely Stricto there. He's been brilliant tonight. And you guys have been brilliant as well. And thank you very much. We're going to be back in the morning, of course, with the morning show. So make sure you check that out tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. But have yourself a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.